The following is not medical advice. Please check with a medical professional to see how you can improve your sleep quality. What I've been doing is taking the following supplements before I go to sleep: is glycine, ashwagandha, DHEA, lysine, L-theanine, and I've also been mixing distilled water along with chia seeds because they have omega-3 fatty acids and they help lower your blood pressure and introduce magnesium and lots of things to open the arteries in the evening, and that helps a lot of different conditions. It's also important to have good oral hygiene. So good toothpaste, good toothbrush, some floss picks, good mouthwash, take a nice warm shower. Nasal irrigation, good nasal irrigation machine, nasal saline packets. And then in terms of a pillow, I've struggled with this, and lately I've fallen on just using a towel. Just folding a towel and introducing the minimal amount of disruption to the neck, and then using a sleep mask to block out any light. So a nice quiet environment, slightly cool, and good oral and hygiene and so forth. And so I hope this video does help someone develop some good sleeping habits. It's easy to fall into some bad habits, to get worried about work or get worried about this and that and have those things keep you up at night. But it's important to develop good habits so that we're healthy and fresh for the next day. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. All the affiliate links will be in the description.
Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive. We're going to be talking all about sleep hygiene today.
That's right, and we've got some really cool research and reviews to share.
So much interesting stuff out there.
Yeah.
Before we get too far, I think we should start by defining sleep hygiene.
Sure.
Would you agree?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, is there like a universal definition out there for sleep hygiene?
Well, that's a great question, and it's actually a lot more complex than you might think. You know this 2024 study, Sleep Hygiene, what do we mean?
Yeah.
A bibliographic review.
I saw that one.
Basically, the study says there isn't one strict definition of sleep hygiene.
Interesting.
But there are a lot of common themes.
Okay.
Like behavioral factors, like your pre-sleep routine.
Right. Makes sense.
Environmental factors like light and noise.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then also like an element of control.
So like you're in control of those factors.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Being able to like influence those things.
Okay, so it's not just like what you do right before bed. Yeah.
It's like a whole collection of choices throughout the day.
It's like a holistic approach to sleep.
Okay, gotcha. That makes a lot more sense.
And the fascinating thing is that sleep hygiene, it's not one size fits all.
Right. That makes sense.
It can be really different for different people.
Sure.
Depending on their needs and, circumstances and stuff.
Yeah, what works for a night owl might not work for,
an early bird.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And I think that's what I found so interesting about this study that we looked at on hospitalized patients.
Right.
Can you imagine?
It's so hard to sleep in a hospital.
Right. With all the beeping and the machines and people coming in and out.
It's crazy, right?
It just seems impossible.
The researchers in this study, a sleep hygiene intervention to improve sleep quality for hospitalized patients, I think they had a really smart approach.
I agree.
It was really simple, but it was effective.
Yeah. What did they do?
Well, they created this thing called a sleep package for the patients.
And it had things like eye masks and earplugs.
Interesting.
They had a lavender scent pad
Yeah.
and even some non-caffeinated tea.
So they're trying to create a little bit of like a spa-like experience in the hospital.
Right, exactly. They're trying to make it as relaxing as possible.
I love that.
And they played relaxing music in the unit and tried to encourage a quieter environment overall.
So they basically created like a little oasis of calm in this.
In the middle of all the chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I think that's a brilliant idea.
And the results were really impressive.
Oh, really?
The patients, they reported that their sleep quality was much better.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they were just happier overall.
I bet.
Just shows how powerful even those small interventions can be.
Yeah, for sure. It's amazing what a difference some small changes can make.
Absolutely.
It makes me think about other groups that maybe have unique challenges with sleep hygiene, like college students.
Oh, totally.
You know,
Classic example.
all those all-nighters.
Yeah, they're notorious for that.
And, strange sleep schedules and everything.
I think it was 2016, there was this systematic review on sleep education programs for college students.
Okay.
And it's interesting because it shows that, these programs can be helpful,
Yeah.
but they don't always work.
So, what's the missing piece there?
Right. That's the question.
Why do some students benefit and then others are still struggling?
Yeah, and that's something that researchers are still trying to figure out,
Right.
I mean, there could be individual factors like stress levels or social norms.
Right. Peer pressure, maybe.
Totally.
Mm.
Or maybe even some underlying sleep disorders that they don't even know about.
Interesting. So just giving information isn't enough.
It seems like it's not always enough. Yeah, you have to look at the whole picture.
Yeah, like all the different pieces of the puzzle.
Right, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. And speaking of puzzles, I was really blown away by this 2019 review called Sleep Hygiene for Optimizing Recovery in Athletes.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It totally changed my perspective on how sleep and athletic performance are connected.
Yeah, it's not just about feeling rested.
Right. It's like next level stuff.
Yeah, it's about maximizing your potential.
Totally.
It's fascinating because the research really highlights how a lack of sleep can negatively impact an athlete's performance.
Yeah, and it's not just one area either, right?
No, it's like almost every area. Reaction time, accuracy, strength, endurance.
Right. It's like trying to, run a race with a flat tire.
Exactly.
I know you can push yourself, but you're not going to get the best result.
Yeah, you're not going to be at your peak.
And what they found was that when athletes get enough sleep, or even if they intentionally bank sleep
Oh, yeah, sleep banking.
leading up to a competition,
Yeah,
they actually see noticeable improvements in their performance.
they're crazy.
Like faster sprint times and, more accuracy in their tennis serves and free throws and stuff.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole idea of sleep banking is super interesting.
Right. It's like a secret weapon for athletes almost.
Totally. And, it does suggest that we could, strategically manipulate our sleep
Right.
to enhance our performance.
To get those better results.
Yeah. But then it also makes you wonder, how much sleep can we actually store?
Right. And what are the long-term impacts, right?
Right, exactly.
Right.
I mean, we need more research for sure.
Yeah. Makes you wonder if sleep could be a performance enhancer.
I know.
That's been hiding in plain sight all along.
Totally.
But this connection between sleep and performance, I mean, that's not just limited to elite athletes, right?
No, not at all.
I mean, we all need to be firing on all cylinders.
You all need our brains and our bodies to be working properly.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it makes me think about infants, toddlers, and preschoolers.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They have such different sleep needs and patterns than adults,
Right.
and their brains are still developing.
It's so important for them to get good sleep.
So important.
I remember when I had my first kid,
Oh, yeah.
sleep was like this distant memory.
I bet.
Like I didn't even remember what it felt like to sleep through the night.
Yeah. New parents, they always say that.
And we found this 2017 review on sleep in that age group.
Oh, wow.
And it was a lifesaver. It explained so much about how babies sleep
Okay.
and what we could do as parents to help them sleep better.
To, promote good sleep habits, basically.
Yeah, totally.
I think what's important to understand about young kids is that it's not just about how much they sleep.
Okay.
It's also about the quality of their sleep.
Right. Quality over quantity.
Exactly. And that's influenced by their physiological development.
Right. Which is constantly changing.
Always changing.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's why pediatricians, they play such a vital role
Mm-hmm.
in promoting good sleep hygiene, right from infancy.
Right. From the get-go.
Yeah. They can help parents understand what's normal
For sure.
and if there are any potential issues and how to create a really supportive sleep environment for their kids.
Yeah. So it's like setting the foundation.
Exactly. Early intervention is so important.
Right.
It can help to prevent sleep problems later on.
It's so much easier to prevent them than to try and fix them later on.
For sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's all about empowering parents with knowledge and tools to support their little one's sleep development.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Totally. It's wild how we often think about sleep as something totally separate from our daily lives.
Yeah.
It's just this thing we do at night.
Right. Like it's just this box we check off.
Yeah. But it's really a part of everything we do.
I'm starting to see
It
that.
affects our energy,
Yeah.
our health, our well-being,
For sure.
all of it.
Okay, but what happens when we don't get enough sleep?
Well, We've touched a bit on mental health,
Yeah.
but that's really just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, really?
Did you know that if you don't sleep enough chronically,
Mm.
it can increase your risk for some pretty serious conditions?
Like what?
Heart disease, stroke, even type 2 diabetes.
Wow. I knew it was important, but I didn't realize it could be that serious.
Yeah, it's pretty major.
Makes you think twice about those late nights
Yeah.
and early mornings.
And it's not just about how much you sleep either.
Okay.
The quality of your sleep matters too.
Oh, interesting.
Studies show that if you're not sleeping well,
Mm-hmm.
it can affect your immune system.
Really?
Yeah, you're more likely to get sick.
Oh, wow.
It can even mess with your hormones, leading to, more stress, weight gain.
So basically, sleep hygiene, it's not just about feeling good the next day.
Right.
It's like it's protecting our health long term.
It's preventative medicine almost.
Totally.
And even on a more day-to-day level, think about how sleep affects your mood,
Oh, yeah.
your focus, your productivity.
I'm a totally different person when I haven't slept well.
Same here.
My patience is non-existent.
I bet.
And I can barely, form a sentence.
It's rough.
It's not pretty.
Yeah, and there's actually a reason for that.
Oh, really?
When you're sleep deprived, it really messes with your brain.
Interesting.
It slows down your reaction time.
Okay.
It makes it hard to remember things, pay attention,
Right.
and even to control your emotions.
So I'm not just being grumpy, my brain actually isn't working as well.
It's like your brain's on autopilot,
Wow.
not really fully engaged,
Okay, that makes total sense.
and those effects can build up over time.
Like sleep debt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you're putting it on a credit card.
Yeah, and eventually you have to pay it back.
And with interest.
Oof. Okay. I'm sold sleep is important, but how do we even begin to improve our sleep hygiene?
It can feel overwhelming, right?
Really?
Like, where do you even start?
Right.
But I promise it doesn't have to be that complicated.
Okay, good.
There are a lot of really simple things you can do.
Right.
One of the biggest ones is setting a consistent sleep schedule.
So going to bed and waking up at the same time every day?
Exactly, even on weekends.
Even on weekends?
That's the key.
Ugh, that's tough.
It helps regulate your body's natural sleep-wake cycle,
Okay.
your circadian rhythm.
Right, I've heard of that.
And when that's in sync,
Mm-hmm.
it's way easier to fall asleep and wake up feeling good.
Like an internal clock.
Exactly. It's like setting an alarm for your whole body.
That makes a lot of sense.
And another thing you can do is create a bedtime routine.
Oh, like a little ritual.
Yeah. It helps to signal to your body that it's time to wind down.
Okay.
Like taking a warm bath,
I love baths.
reading a book,
Yeah.
listening to some calming music,
Oh, good ideas.
or even doing some relaxation techniques.
Oh, right, like meditation or something.
Yeah. Deep breathing,
Cool.
anything that helps you relax.
I am into it.
And we can't forget about the environment.
The sleep environment.
Yes. Making sure your bedroom is dark, quiet, and cool.
That makes sense.
Like think about blackout curtains.
Right.
Earplugs, maybe a white noise machine,
All good tips.
if you need it.
What about snacks before bed?
Oh, yeah, the late night snacks.
I'm a big snacker.
Well, like we talked about before,
Yeah.
big meals close to bedtime can mess with your sleep.
Right, because your body's trying to digest.
Exactly.
Okay.
But if you are hungry,
Mm-hmm.
try to stick to something light and easy to digest.
Okay, so what?
Like a handful of nuts
Okay.
or a piece of fruit,
Got it.
something like that.
So it's not about depriving myself.
No, not at all.
It's about making smarter choices.
Exactly. Choices that support your sleep.
Totally.
And while we're talking about things to avoid,
Yeah.
caffeine and alcohol before bed are definitely on the list.
Oh, right. I always forget about that.
They might seem relaxing at first.
A glass of wine to unwind.
Yeah. But they can actually mess up your sleep cycles.
And then you don't get that deep sleep.
Exactly. You're not getting that truly restful sleep.
I've definitely noticed that.
Even a little bit of alcohol can disrupt your sleep.
Yeah, I'll wake up feeling groggy, not refreshed at all.
And that's because alcohol, even though it might help you fall asleep at first,
Mm-hmm.
it messes with your sleep later in the night.
Prevents you from getting to those deeper stages.
Exactly. You're not cycling through the stages properly.
Okay, so it's all about being mindful of how our choices throughout the day affect our sleep.
It's all connected.
Totally.
The food we eat, the things we drink,
All right.
how we wind down,
Yep.
it all matters.
Wow, I'm starting to see that.
And the good news is that even small changes can make a big difference.
That's reassuring to hear.
You don't have to change your whole life overnight.
Right, one step at a time.
Exactly. Start with one or two things
Okay.
and build from there.
Makes it feel a lot less overwhelming.
Exactly.
But what about when life gets in the way?
Oh, yeah.
Work deadlines, social events.
Totally. It happens.
And suddenly those perfect sleep hygiene practices are out the window.
It's real life.
Right.
It's okay. It happens to all of us.
So what do we do?
Just be kind to yourself.
Okay.
It's all about getting back on track as soon as you can.
So no need to beat myself up if I have a late night.
Exactly.
Or skip a workout.
It's a course correction, not a derailment.
I like that.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Okay.
It's all about making those conscious choices
Right.
as often as you can,
I can do that?
knowing that sometimes things won't be perfect.
Yeah, and that's okay.
It is. And the more consistent you are,
Mm.
the better your sleep will be.
Like any habit.
It takes time and effort.
Yeah, it's a process.
I mean, patience.
Absolutely, and it helps to have, like, the right tools and information
Totally.
to guide us.
That's what we're here for,
Yeah,
to give you the insights and tips you need
to understand how sleep works.
so you can make the best choices for yourself.
I love that it's not about judgment, it's about empowerment.
Exactly.
You know, speaking of tools, we haven't talked about technology. Oh, yeah.
It's like a double-edged sword, right?
It really is.
Can be a distraction, but it
Yeah.
can also be helpful.
You know, we have all these apps and devices
Yeah.
that can track our sleep.
Right, and give us recommendations.
Yeah. And even help create like a calming sleep environment.
It's pretty cool.
But then there's the other side of it.
Yeah.
All the notifications, the blue light,
Right.
all that stimulating content.
It's hard to resist.
I know. It's a tough balance.
So how does blue light actually affect sleep?
So basically, blue light,
Okay.
especially from, our phones and computers and tablets,
Yeah.
it suppresses melatonin production.
Melatonin.
Yeah, which is the hormone that regulates our sleep.
So my phone's tricking my brain into thinking it's daytime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even when it's dark outside.
Wow, that's sneaky.
I know, right?
And that messes with my sleep.
It can make it hard to fall asleep.
Right.
To stay asleep.
Yeah.
And to feel rested in the morning.
Makes sense. I definitely feel that. But luckily, there are things you can do.
Okay, good.
A lot of devices have night mode now,
Oh, right.
or blue light filters.
Yeah.
So they don't emit as much blue light.
I should use that more.
You can also wear blue light blocking glasses.
I've seen those.
Yeah, especially if you're working late.
Or scrolling on your phone in bed.
Or, yeah, if you're on screens a lot at night.
So it's not about, like, getting rid of technology completely. It's about being mindful of how we use it.
Exactly, setting boundaries
Okay.
to protect our sleep.
Totally.
And the other thing to watch out for is stimulation.
Like social media.
Yeah, social media, videos, even checking emails.
I'm so guilty of that.
It happens,
Mm-hmm.
but it keeps your mind racing.
Yeah, and then you can't wind down.
It's tough to switch off.
I know, it's a bad habit.
I think that's why it's so important to create tech-free zones,
Oh, yeah.
especially your bedroom.
Right, like a no-phone zone.
Exactly. Put your phone away an hour or two before bed
Okay.
and resist the temptation to check it.
That's hard.
It is. But you might be surprised how much better you sleep.
I'm willing to try.
It's amazing how much technology impacts us
Yeah, you don't even realize it.
until you take a break.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a good reminder that we have more control over our sleep environment.
Right, we can create a space that promotes rest,
Exactly.
free from all the distractions.
It's about creating a sanctuary for sleep.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired to create my sleep sanctuary. But before we go too far,
Yeah,
I think we should do a quick recap,
sounds good to me.
just to kind of summarize everything we've talked about.
Perfect.
So we started by talking about how sleep hygiene is about more than just a bedtime routine.
Yeah,
It's about the choices we make all day long.
right. It's a holistic approach.
And we talked about the consequences of poor sleep hygiene.
Yeah, it's not just about feeling tired
Right, it can impact our health and well-being.
in so many ways.
And we went over some practical tips for improving our sleep hygiene.
The importance of consistency, relaxation techniques,
Yeah.
creating that perfect sleep environment.
And finally, we discussed the tricky relationship between technology and sleep,
The good and the bad.
the double-edged sword.
You nailed it.
Okay, so, as we've been going through all this research and stuff,
Yeah.
I keep thinking back to that 2024 study.
Oh, right.
The one about, how there isn't really a clear definition for sleep hygiene.
The one with the themes: behaviors, environment, control.
Yeah, how?
Yeah. That's been a big one for us today.
And it kind of got me thinking, what if instead of focusing on what sleep hygiene is, we talked about what it isn't?
Oh, interesting.
Like busting some of those common sleep myths
Oh, I like that.
that are out there.
There are so many myths about sleep.
I know, right?
It's crazy.
It's like they're hiding under the bed.
Waiting to get you.
Exactly. Like, for example, everyone always says you need 8 hours of sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's this magic number.
The 8-hour rule.
Yeah. But is that true for everyone?
Well, it's a good starting point. you know?
Okay.
But it's not a one-size-fits-all thing.
Right.
Some people might need more. Some people might need less.
It depends on the person.
Yeah, your age, your genetics, your lifestyle.
So how do you know how much sleep you need?
It's about paying attention to your body.
Okay.
How do you feel throughout the day?
Okay.
If you're always tired or you can't focus,
Yeah.
that might mean you need more sleep.
It's like listening to your internal cues.
Exactly. Your body knows best.
Makes sense.
And another myth I hear a lot is that you can train yourself to need less sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'll sleep when I'm dead. But that's just not true.
You can't cheat sleep.
Nope, your body needs sleep to function.
And if you don't get enough,
It can have serious consequences.
right, like for your health,
Your mental health, too.
it's not worth it.
It's like trying to run your car on empty.
Yeah, eventually you're going to break down.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about naps?
Naps.
Are those good or bad?
I'm a big fan of naps.
Me too.
I think they can be really beneficial.
Really? I always thought they were like a sign of laziness.
Not at all. Short naps can actually improve your alertness,
Oh, wow.
your focus, even your memory.
Interesting.
The key is to keep them short,
Okay, how short?
like 20 to 30 minutes,
Okay, that's doable.
and avoid napping too late in the day.
Right, so it doesn't mess with your nighttime sleep.
Exactly.
So it's all about being strategic with your nap.
Totally. It's a tool you can use to improve your sleep.
Okay, I can get on board with that.
And one last myth I want to bust.
Okay, hit me.
If you can't fall asleep, you should just stay in bed and keep trying.
Oh, I've done that so many times.
It's the worst, right?
Just lying there, staring at the ceiling.
Getting more and more frustrated.
Yeah,
It's a recipe for insomnia.
I know.
So what should you do instead?
I'm all ears.
If you're struggling to fall asleep after like 20 minutes,
Okay.
get out of bed.
What? Really?
Yeah. And do something relaxing,
Oh.
like reading or listening to music
Got it.
until you feel sleepy again.
So you don't want to associate your bed with stress.
Exactly. You want your bed to be a place of relaxation.
Makes sense.
It's about creating positive sleep associations.
I'm learning so much today.
It's all about reframing your mindset.
And finding what works for you.
Exactly. There's no one right answer.
This has been so helpful.
I'm glad.
I feel like I'm finally starting to understand sleep hygiene.
It's a journey,
It is.
and it's all about finding what works best for you.
And remember, everyone, there's so much more to learn.
Tons of resources out there.
So keep exploring, keep experimenting,
Don't be afraid to try new things.
and most importantly,
Prioritize your sleep.
make it a priority.
It's an investment in your health and well-being.
So sweet dreams, everyone.
Sleep well.
We'll see you on our next deep dive.